Well, hi everybody. What an amazing day today! Unbelievable what's happened today. We hear probably first thing this morning about the decision of the French left wing judiciary to activist judges basically to ban Marie Le Pen from running in the president election in France in 2027. Absolutely unbelievable lawfare that's gone on here, and they're talking about something that basically numerous other party leaders do in the EU, and things that it's been looked at. What she has been charged with and convicted of, other people have done, and it's been thrown out of court. And so it's clear what they're doing. She's 13 points ahead right now in France. Clearly the front runner to win the presidency. And of course, the globalist deep state, the left-wing cabal that runs Europe, is panicking like mad, frightened to death that a populist who may well decide to leave the EU is doing so well. And of course she's doing well because the left-wing cabal, the deep state, the globalists that are running Europe are making such a terrible job of running it, or they're doing it on purpose. The terrible way they're dealing with everything, the instigation of all the things that we all know about now that are all supposed to be conspiracy theories, which they're not. The things that, the mass immigration that's just never ending, that is being done on purpose. And it's maybe being done on purpose to prop up GDP of across Europe, but it's destroying social cohesion in Europe. It's not a price worth paying, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as a lot of people are concerned, and everybody's very unhappy about it. And you can see that with the people that are starting to emerge. You look at Austria. The populist party in Austria actually won the election, and now, because nobody will make a coalition with it, right, he's not even in power, and he actually won the election. How crazy is that? That's proportional representation for you, which everybody screams they want, but it just shows how it can manipulate you. You can actually win an election with proportional representation and still not end up in power. And then you look at Romania, all this bullshit about TikTok, and the influence of Russia and whatnot, because this Judgescu chap was doing so well, and obviously clearly he was going to win, and he was a populist. So what have they done? They've stopped him from running. They've taken him off the stage. Arrested him on trumped-up charges. Another one out of the way. And then you look at the way. I guess you look at the way Italy. I mean, Italy's got Meloni in power there, but other people around Meloni have been persecuted that were part of the right. They've been persecuted and taken to court. Then you've got Germany with AfD, which is not a far right party. It's just a populist party. It's a people's party, a conservative party with a big C, a proper conservative party that we used to love back in the day. No different to a Margaret Thatcher party, really. And now the FD, even though they got their second place in the election, they couldn't. Obviously, nobody would do a coalition with them. So now they are one of the biggest parties in Parliament there, and now again there's calls to ban the AfD while they're actually in power, or actually in situ. Sorry, in the Bundestag. It's just unbelievable. And then you've got Holland, where the person who won the election can't be prime minister. Where does it end? Who is going to stand up for conservatism in Europe? We know why it is. It's because of the agendas that the left have, the narrative the left have. The net zero. The 15-minute cities. The digital ID, digital passport, the Agenda 2030, the UN Agenda 2030, all the WEF policies from, the Davos demons, It's all the reason why they won't let and of course the EU itself. Most of these people that are from these populist parties are anti-EU, and of course they're trying to preserve the EU for God knows what reason, because it's so past its original purpose, it's so way out of its remit. It's just ridiculous. It needs ending. They can't hold this back forever. Anyway, I wanted to just have a look at what Steve Bannon had to say about it today, because obviously I knew he'd be spitting feathers about it. So just let you just have a look at this and see what you think of what Steve has to say. Terrible, terrible day for democracy. And they talk about democracy all the time, defending democracy. They don't give a damn about democracy. They hate democracy. Anyway, here you go. This is from earlier today.
Now, I want to go to. Have you heard about these judges? Have you heard about the judges? Right now, the war of the weekend of President Trump, because it's the legal profession, it's the judges and the lawyers, and he's engaged in full-on battle with both. We'll update that. Bolsonaro's in court, I think, again today on trial. They're going to put him in prison as a show trial, and they're going to try to assassinate him in prison. Today, a bombshell out of France. At the time, and think about it for a second, Bolsonaro leads in the poll, Marine Le Pen leads in the poll, Donald Trump leads in the poll, Marine Le Pen found guilty on some trumped-up charge. The great Jerome Revere is going to join us. I want to play a short package, then bring Jerome in. Let's roll it, folks.
Leader Marine Le Pen has been sentenced to 4 years in jail, and she's been banned from running for office for 5 years. She was found guilty of embezzlement in a trial that focused on how she used party funding. She had been tipped to lead in the 2027 presidential race. The leader of France's National Rally Party, Jordan Bardella, has just said in the past few minutes that she has been unjustly condemned. The party itself has also been fined. We have some live pictures coming to us from inside the courtroom at the moment. Not much happening there. Marine Le Pen left before the sentence had been fully read out by the judge. But watching all the proceedings for us is our Paris correspondent Hugh Schofield, who is at the courtroom. Lots of developments to bring our viewers. Yep. Hugh, let's start from the beginning. What is the latest we've heard on the sentence?
Well, we now have, after a very, very tense couple of hours, we have a definitive verdict and sentence on Marine Le Pen, and that sentence is the worst she could possibly have hoped for. In other words, a 5-year period of ineligibility to be carried out straight away, regardless of whether or not she appeals. And this is the key point in all of this. I think everyone, even she herself, expected to be convicted on the charges, but the key question was what she would be sentenced to. And there was a legal phrase, which was at the heart of this, which in French is exécution provisoire. If those words were uttered by the president of the court, the judge, it would mean that this period of ineligibility would kick in straight away. She uttered those words. The period is 5 years, and what that means is that Marine Le Pen cannot run in the next election in 2027, barring some legal twist of which I am completely unaware, and I'm not sure anyone can think of one. She can't run in 2027, and that, of course, is an earthquake. She's favourite to run in those elections. Favourite in the sense that she's by far the most popular single candidate in the first round of those elections. It would be her 4th attempt to get the presidency, and at this 4th attempt she would have the most high chances of winning it, because the situation has been working in her favour. And now, at a stroke, a judge, the judicial system, has said you can't run, and that clearly has massive implications for her party, but also for people who are worried about French democracy. It's notable that several political leaders who are her opponents have said in the last weeks that they hope she didn't get this automatic ineligibility, because they say she's someone who we need to fight at the ballot box, not through the judicial system. So even her arch enemy, Jean-Luc Mélenchon on the far left, has been saying he thought that this possibility of an automatic ineligibility was wrong. But there it is. It's happened, and quite suddenly, I would say almost unexpectedly, because a lot of speculation has been around the fact that the judge would be under pressure to sort of take account of politics and the ambiance in the country and so on. So unexpectedly, Marine Le Pen is suddenly out of the race, and she's a very angry woman. We saw her leaving the courtroom about half an hour ago. She's now at party headquarters with a very, very granite-like face on. She's been joined there by Jordan Bardella, her kind of deputy, the man who will probably step in if she can't run, and will now therefore probably step in as a presidential candidate, and they'll be formulating whatever response it is that they're going to formulate. She'll certainly appeal against this, but that won't be good enough because the appeal probably won't happen for a year and a half or so, and there's no guarantee that the appeal would overturn this sentence.
Yeah, so there we are. Puts it in a nutshell. The BBC are loving it, of course, aren't they? But I think even they looked a little bit sheepish about it. They looked a little bit embarrassed about it, the BBC, because they know that it's just so obvious now what's happening right across Europe. Anytime a right of centre candidate emerges, boom, straight away. Legal proceedings or some fake story about TikTok or God knows what else, and everybody's far right this and far right that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Something's got to be done about it. It can't carry on like this. Unless the people stand up to it, it's got to be down to the people. They've got to get kinetic. They've got to start doing something about it. They've got to get on the streets and stop this now. Else we're going to be all pushed down a road we don't want to go down. Yeah, and you'll probably get a lot of people, a lot of the liberals will be saying, oh, this is great news and all that. I don't think they understand. They're all been led down a garden path that they think is going to be all rosy and perfect, and it's not. We're all heading for a really bad place with this liberal deep state that's in power right now. You can see it happening all over the world. Look at Brazil. A guy gets let out of prison to win an election that was a very dubious election result, and then now they're persecuting Bolsonaro. Basically Brazil's Donald Trump. They're trying to persecute him, and hopefully he gets killed in prison. That's what they want. It's absolutely disgusting, So, I don't know. It's just... Anyway, I'm just queuing up this next part for you, just to check this bit out. Just to check it out and see what you think.
They don't want her to run for president. This is exactly what they're doing to Trump, exactly what they're doing to Bolsonaro. Ben Harnwell, I want you to give me some commentary here and then hang around because I'm going to go to Mexico with Berquam. We're on the trail of the cartel wars south of the border. Harnwell, your thoughts. You're up close and personal to all this. Is this a united front of these neo-Marxist judges, whether in the United States, Brazil, France, the United Kingdom, Israel, Germany, wherever, to basically thwart the populist nationalist uprise across the globe, sir?
I noticed you used that expression earlier with the ever excellent Jerome Riviere. Good morning to you, Steve, by the way. I'm not sure whether it is a Marxist thing, and I'm the first person in the world to detect cultural Marxism where I see it. I think it's more and I know you have reservations about the term deep state, but I think it's more of the deep state, the system, wherever it is in the West, trying its final holdout, if you will, if I can use that expression. Something that you said repeatedly throughout the entirety of your public life, leaning on Andrew Breitbart, who lent on Gramsci, who lent on Nietzsche, is that the culture is upstream of politics. And what we've seen since, say, 2008, since the financial crisis, inverted commas, is that over the last sort of 15, 20 years, this system, this deep state, has lost its hold over the cultural sphere. And the right, massively, from the Tea Party onwards, through MAGA, dominated the cultural sphere. So then what happened is that the deep state, the system, retreated to the political sphere, and it lost those fights. We started winning elections. And now what you see here is this is their final battle. This is what I would call, Steve, the Custer's last stand of the deep state. This is where they're going to go down. They will lose this, but this is their final chance, really, to keep their hold on power. Why? Why are they there in the courts? Why is this final battle taking place in the courts. It's because they are unelected judges. When all is said and done, they are simply state bureaucrats, state civil servants. They wear robes. They may have special titles. They might sit in courts, what have you, but they are state functionaries. They're responsible. It's the state that pays their salary, their pension, their healthcare. The final analysis, they are always going to defend that system that pays them. And that is why when the system is under threat, they will dig down. And, we also mentioned Romania in the list with Carlin Georgescu, who's also been sidelined by the court, by unelected judges. So this is what we're going to see. Now, the question, Steve, is what are we going to do about it? And I have some theories on that.
So there you go. So it's interesting to hear what Ben Arnwell has to say. He's pretty much of an expert on European affairs, on the War Room, and he thinks it is the sort of the dying embers of a globalist, because Trump is smashing the globalist. He's smashing them, and we've got another 4 years of it. So, which is great news. We need another 4 years on top of that to put an end to it. But somebody's got to do something in Europe. You can't just rely on Trump. Somebody's got to start something in Europe to defend and to stop this elitist, globalist, liberal, left-wing, demonic cabal just, destroying democracy in Europe. It can't go on any longer. The people want to change, It's just so anti-democratic, I just want to move on to another piece on here, if I can. Just want to move on to another piece on here if I can, and just show you this. It's just another section off the War Room, just to show you a little bit more.
Ben Hardwell, Europe, Soros, Hungary, the deep state, your assessment, Marine Le Pen, prison for 4 years, or they say they're going to do, I think, put an ankle bracelet on her, but they're still going to have home confinement so she can't campaign. How big a deal is all this, sir? The deep state against the populist, nationalist, sovereigntist right?
Well, the Roman classical author, Steve Vegetius, once said, "Si vis pacem para bellum." If you want peace, prepare for war. Well, if you want war, vote for a mainstream political party, because that's what you'll get. And this is what I was saying earlier on in the first half of the show, that this battle that the anti-establishment, the populist nationalist movement has been fighting for the last 15 years took place first in the cultural sphere, then when we won that in the political sphere, then when we won that, it's now in the judicial sphere. The reason for this, as I was saying, is because judges, being unelected, are unresponsive to popular will. They are the last front of the system in its fight to maintain control, and the element of war here is not unrelated to what's going on. If you look at the candidates who are being excluded by these judges from office, this is their last chance, why I called it earlier, the Custer's last stand of the deep state. So when I said before, I actually have a theory, it's a suggestion, if anyone wants to listen to it, might be a bit edgy, of what can be done. I'll just say it in about 30 seconds. It's not that the judiciary, at least in the French context, that the judge has acted beyond his powers. He has full discretion. A judge has full discretion to do what they've done, even though, as Jerome said, the present French Prime Minister was charged with exactly the same thing a year ago, and he's not in prison. The problem essentially is this, and you'll find this in America, you'll find this in continental Europe. The one country where you won't find this is in England, historically for this reason, and that is when you have a constitution and you base your political authority in that constitution, and you base the interpretation and protection of the integrity of that constitution in elected judges. What we are seeing now around the world was inevitable. That a class of judges will stop the political process when their interests are in stake.
But hang on. Whoa. Far be it from me to say that I have a better feel for the political situation in the United Kingdom than my revered friend Ben Harnwell, but I just think you're dead freaking wrong. The judges there tried to stop, actually got in the middle of Starmer's trying to send the immigrants back. Remember, the courts there are starting to rear their heads. Traditionally, you're right, they don't have a written constitution, and that traditionally has made it so they don't have judicial supremacy, even co-equal branches. But remember, it was Sir Keir that actually came up with the phrase, we have to have the rule of law, not the rule of lawyers. So even in the United Kingdom, which would be the one you least expected, it's raised its ugly head, has it not, Ben Harnwell?
Steve, your objection is absolutely well played, and the reason is that Tony Blair introduced. No, it's well played. It's absolutely correct.
Exactly, 100%. 100%.
Tony Blair introduced for the first time in 1,000 years in England a system that was above Parliament, which is this Supreme Court. The British tradition, however, is that there is nothing above Parliament, and that's of course exactly why Tony Blair did it.
But
that's exactly why Tony Blair introduced
but hang on
the
for a second.
Supreme Court.
Yeah. Hang on. Take a deep breath. Now that I corrected your understanding of modern British politics. Tony Blair did it structurally, but it was the Tories that incorporated what the Human Rights Commission report, remember that? They incorporated it in some piece of legislation. It gave the courts ability to actually an instrumentation to effectuate judicial supremacy in the United Kingdom. Folks, it's war of the lawyers against the right globally. Bolsonaro's on trial for his life in Brazil. Le Pen sentenced to 4 years in prison and up by 12 points can't run for the presidency. In Romania, they threw out the winner. In Bibi, right now, the deep state's after him. President Trump, they're trying to send President Trump to jail for life. Write that down. They steal 28. And right now, they're trying to shut down. To delay is to deny in his second term.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. That's where we are. It's pretty scary stuff, really, but they don't care. That's what they do. That's what they do. They're up. That's their, raison d'etre. That's how they operate. They actually get kinetic, and they do stuff. They've got the deep state, the whatever you want to call them, the WEF Davos set, the globalist elites, the Bilderbergs, the Club of Rome. The whole thing is controlled. It's all basically against the right. You can't have a right-wing government anymore. You can have a pretend one that's called conservative, but it isn't, like Friedrich Merz in Germany. It's not really a conservative party at all. You can have the Conservative Party of Boris Johnson, which wasn't a conservative party at all. It was full of One Nation, what they call One Nation Tories, or WETs, for want of a better word. Liberal Democrats, effectively, in a Tory party. And that's where we are. And of course, once these people are treated in the way they are, they're sentenced to prison and all this sort of thing. Some might die in prison, the way that they're treated. Some might be assassinated by lunatic lefties, like Trump was nearly assassinated. Once that happens, which is what they want, it puts other people off for standing for that type of party. People dare not do it. And that's where democracy dies, because all we end up there is centre left parties, across the whole of Europe, just carrying on the agenda, the UN, the Agenda 2030, the net zero bullshit, the DEI, trans garbage, all that, it's shocking. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you subscribe. Please subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel, and we're going to bring you lots of great content. And so I'd love to see you again. We're going to, concentrate on the politics of Europe and also America, and try to break it down if we can, so it makes sense to people, so they can see what's actually going on. So thanks for watching the video, and thanks very much, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Thank you again. Bye.